What is up, guys? Ethan Chant here, bringing you another episode of the channel. If you do like this video, hit that like button, and if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. Every subscriber helps. So today I'm going to be starting my maintenance series, which will consist of different things ranging from oil changes, which is what we're going to be doing today, to changing your brakes, bleeding your brakes, all the kind of different maintenance stuff that you guys will need to do in order to keep your car up and running for as long as possible. Now, with something like an oil change, a lot of cars can last without a rebuild if you do it every 3,000 miles. Now this filter says up to 5,000 miles is what it says. So they can go up to 5,000 miles, but on average recommended by every mechanic in the world, it's on average that you change your oil and change your filter every 3,000 miles. And there have been a lot of times where cars will never need a rebuild and run just as perfect as they did off the lot, because every 3,000 miles the car had its oil changed. If it's a little bit over or a little bit less, it's not the end of the world, but you need to keep it in that 3,000 range just in order to make sure you keep your motor up and running for a long time. Is this something that, yes, you can have people do, but I think is a skill that people should learn. Now, this will be done on my 97 Saturn SC2. If you haven't watched the review already, click up ahead to go watch that and you can come back to this video. But there's a lot of key differences in this, and with a lot of newer cars, they have coverings on the bottom, which like some sports cars, I'll say for example a GTR, I think the R35 GTR, they have pieces that cover all the piping and everything to make it all look clean underneath, but that's an extra step that you need to take. So take into consideration that this is not going to be a step-by-step process for every single car out there. I couldn't possibly do that because there's so many different cars. This is just a basic idea of what it is. I will be telling you specific things about my car that I know, and I'll give you some tips and tricks on how to do or how to make the oil change faster and a lot easier on yourself. So yeah, let's get into the oil change. It is very important to know that there are certain parts of the car where you have to jack it up. Some cars will actually have jack points to where you can put the actual jack, like I have right in there, in that area. There are certain places that you put the jack in order to jack up the car, and not all cars have jack points, and sometimes the jack points are not the best places to put it. So whenever you're jacking up a car, you have to make sure that the car is steady, or you have in a when you're putting where the jack is and the car meet, it should be steady and not flex too much. Obviously with my car, it's all made of plastic, so it's gonna flex a little bit, and with under cars too as well, with all the plastic underneath as well, it'll flex a bit. But just so you guys know, you gotta make sure that it's sturdy, and you might wanna get it on like a chassis. And that's also the same thing that'll apply when you put your jack on. So when you have this thing on as well, you wanna make sure that this right here has that all of this is very sturdy, and you're gonna do it. What I'll show you later on once I get the car on both jacks, I'll do a shake test to show the car sturdy and it's not gonna fall on me when I try to work on it and do the oil. So, back to jacking up the car. So as you saw right there, I just did a shake test. You want to do that for every single jack when you put it on. As you can see, it's very sturdy. It's offset right now. So I'm going to make sure that I have both jacks in the front so that the front of the car is lifted so that the oil comes towards the back. Okay, continue. Also, you want to make sure you don't go too high on the other side when you're jacking up the other side, because the first side that you go on is going to have a lot of the weight on it. So you've got to make sure you don't go too high so that all the jacks are even. And you want to make sure before you pull out the jack, before you pull out the jack, do a shake test and make sure they're equal. If they're not equal, make sure they get equal so that they're all good to go. Okay? Continue. We just finished jacking up the car, and as you can see, it is now off the ground. Now, I can't tell you if you have like a bag system on your car what to do. I do apologize, but I have lowering struts on my car. I have racing, like a coil strut, like a racing strut tower on my car that has lowered the height. So obviously, if you have a normal ride height car, you don't have to raise the car as much to get underneath of it. Because my car is so low, I have to raise the height of it so that I can get underneath of it. And I also forgot to get a couple mats for when I change the oil, but it'll be fine. I'm gonna get some mats real quick, get the oil pan underneath, get my tools, and I'll show you what tools I will be using for my car. Now, this is not gonna be the same for every single car, but you guys should know approximately what size socket it is. And I'll show you what tools I'll be using too. So be back in a few. Okay guys, I got my mats. These are really awesome to have whenever you're working on a car in general, because if you don't have one of those, seat, or like pretty much seats that you can slide on the ground and stuff like that, these are really nice to have and really inexpensive. You can get these at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart. You can get these pretty much anywhere that has tools pretty much, and they help a lot. As you can see, if you can tell in mine are really dirty because we use them all the time. These are very, very, very important whenever we're working on a car, so we don't spill oil on the ground. I'm gonna go place these mats, and then I'm gonna show you guys what tools I use for my car specifically. Yeah, specifically. Sorry, words just don't matter to me anymore. It's summer. I don't English anymore. I math. Now that we're back to my camera not focusing, I'm going to show you the tools I'm going to be using. Using a socket ratchet. You can find these literally anywhere for any brand. The brand that I use, that is mostly my dad's tools, is Craftsman. They're really good quality for what they used to be. The brand I use, if you want something that's of decent quality but inexpensive on price, you can get Husky. They have a full set. I just don't know where mine is, and it's probably lost in my dad's tools or my room. Either way, I gotta find it so I can take it with me when I move. And also I'm gonna be using a 14mm impact socket. Impact sockets are really good because they have a lot of bite in them. And since you're not putting too much load on the bolt that we're gonna be taking off, which by the way, you do not wanna use an impact gun when putting on or taking off because you could strip the bolt. Don't use an impact gun. Use a ratcheting socket wrench. I'll show you a couple things. This is the underneath of my car. Let me take this off real quick. I'm gonna show you guys something. I think this is pretty cool. Can you see me pretty well? Okay, guys. So, okay, cool. Pretty good for a low light. There's my keys. So, I'm gonna show you guys where the oil thing is. So you see this bolt right there. I think it should be focusing on it. Right there. That's the bolt that we're gonna be taking out today. So I have the mats already underneath, as you can see. As you can see, it's a little dirty. I'm gonna clean it off a bit. I think the car is clean for what it is. If you ran your car earlier, the one thing you need to keep in consideration is how recently you ran it, because you could be dealing with some hot oil and it can burn you. So be aware of that. Hopefully you guys can hear me. So as you can see, it's already turning. It's not gonna be super tight. It needs to be snug. I couldn't think of the word earlier, but it needs to be snug so that everything can be held in, and you don't want to be too crazy with it. So you want to go slow because oil's gonna be coming out. And see, now I can just hand turn it. See, not that hard. You need to keep it snug so that you can do this. I'm gonna adjust this a little bit. So this will be coming out really fast, and I have a washer that is not coming off, but hopefully it doesn't get lost. Alright, it's gonna start to come out soon. Oh, there it goes. Hey, and there's our oil. So you want to let this completely drain out before you take your oil filter. If you take your oil filter off before you change your oil, all the oil is going to come out of there. So one main thing you need to keep in consideration is the fact that you need to drain all of your oil out. It still looks pretty fresh. It's not completely black. There's still some brown to it. And usually when you first put oil in, it should be like a golden brownish. When your oil's done, it's probably gonna be black, not brown. But because I did a 1,000-mile break-in, we have to change the oil. So, and still there will be some oil left when I take out the oil filter, so I will have to move the oil pan over there as well. And be very careful of when I do take it out. I'm just gonna let that drain. It's not sludgy, which is a good thing. So that means the motor is still being nice to me and is not gonna die. Put your bolt back on before you change your oil, or before you put the oil in, because if you don't, you will not get any oil, and then you'll have a big mess of all this oil that just went through your motor and everything, and you'll be leaking out, and there will have been no point of you changing oil, and you would have wasted literally around $30 for oil. This has been fairly simple so far. Hopefully don't run into too many problems when I'm taking the oil filter out.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
That should be changed by just your hand. They do make some oil filter, like, attachments for your socket wrenches and stuff like that, to help with it. But usually hand tight is good enough for it. Hey, I just want to tell you guys right now, I'm working on the post on this video as of right now, and there is a part that you guys are going to see. This part that you're looking at right now is me actually working on trying to get the oil filter off. Now, the sad thing is, because of the way it was done by my dad, it wasn't lubricated correctly, or it was cranked down, whatever the reason being. Because I didn't have my involvement in that part, it ended up being a pain in the ass for me to work on. So nothing against my dad, it's just, you know, one of those things. We made a mistake, and now we know for the future. But this is literally an hour and a half worth of footage of me trying to explain what's going on, my frustration. I took the audio out of this because it's very, I got really upset, and I didn't break anything, thankfully. Well, I mean, you'll see later in the video what I did break, but it was just, you know, simple things. But at the end of the day, I'm making this video so you guys can learn from the mistakes that I had to deal with throughout this video. So just keep in mind when you're watching this, like, I do try to explain the oil, but because of my lack of knowledge on how to explain viscosity of oil, it didn't turn out to be as well as I wanted. So if you do want to go and check out, if you want to learn more about viscosity, there's a YouTuber called Engineering Explained. I will link his channel and the video that he talks about viscosity in the description down below. So if you guys do want to go check that out, please, I suggest you do, especially if you don't know what the differences are, so that you can have that little bit of extra knowledge. Okay. So we came back to Alex's house. Obviously you can tell the quality is a little bit different. I'm on my iPhone right now. My camera died. Both batteries are dead. So we're using an oil filter tool, which you shouldn't have to poke a hole through a oil filter to turn it. And it's been ridiculous. I need a new motor. That's all I need. Motor swap time.
You need a better car.
Don't mind me. Alex is gonna try it now. See if he can do it. Yes! Yes!
You're just not swollen enough.
I am not swollen enough. Oh my gosh, I am not worthy. This is why car guys go to the gym.
I do go to the gym.
Perfect example, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to get an oil filter off, you must be required to go to the gym.
No, I'm screwed enough to where you think.
You want to borrow my glove or something?
No. You will?
They're sharp metal. I don't want you getting tetanus.
I have my shot.
Oh, just a little bit more. I can already tell. Oh my gosh. I loosened it for you. All that for that piece of shit oil filter.
Honestly.
Destroyed. This has been a task in itself. Thank you, Alex, so much. Now, Alex, what must we always do with an oil filter?
I always put oil on it.
Exactly.
Usually, what I do is I just stick my finger in it and then just bring it around. Usually, what I do is just do it a couple of times. And then just put it in. Yeah, around the threads too.
Yeah. Okay, I think if I would have used that first,
Yeah, it would have worked.
it would have worked perfectly fine. So let's keep that in mind.
Just buy one. Makes like no big deal.
Yeah.
Link in description down below. All right.
This is weird.
So now that we have this on, I'm gonna gently
Weird.
screw this back on, or screw the new one on. So how tight would you say this should be, Alex?
Hand tight
Hand tight.
until you can't turn it anymore with your hand.
So I'll probably have you do it because apparently I'm not capable.
Very, I don't Terry, I don't punt. Gotta watch out when I
So, guys, you definitely use a funnel. We're not using a funnel because we've done this multiple times. I'm an idiot though, so I'll probably spill some oil. Who cares? Everybody does. But we recommend for your first timers, use some protection, get a funnel. And my keys dripping.
I'm feeling different, running on fitness, the sentence. You gotta admire persistence. I fell asleep, got the tension, but all is forgiven. I'm about to make more than your pension. Don't need a friend or a foe. Already got enough of both. Catch a tiger by the toe.
How much did you spill?
Probably all of it. So somebody that will help you through the entire process, especially as a safety concern. Whoop. So there you have it. That is how you do your oil change. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see some other stuff that I don't have planned already, comment down below. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.